Hey everybody, we are here with a book launch party. We've got Phill Bradley and his book, Back End of the Bell Curve, Tales of the Uncommonly Unlucky, which I feel like we've all kind of been there at some point. So I just want to say congratulations, Phill, on your book, baby.
Thank you, Angela.
This is a really unusual collection, and I feel privileged that I got to kind of see it from the beginning stages. But I never did ask you what inspired you to create this kind of a very eclectic and original collection.
Well, I'm a career engineering manager, and so I deal with numbers and drawings and things like that all day long, and I love science and math, and the whole idea that there's these 1%ers out there. There's the opposite of that. For different reasons. And in this particular case, I had a catalog of stories that I've been writing over the last 5 years or so, and I was trying to figure out what's the best way to arrange those. And it seemed that there were quite a few that had a central theme of people who are down on their luck or didn't know how to deal with adversity. So that became the kind of the focal point for which stories I was going to arrange and into the book, and ended up calling it the back end of the bell curve to indicate that these people are probably the sub 1% of us. Yeah, it's like people being struck by lightning maybe 2 times or 3 times.
Yeah. And the funny thing I find about this is so many of us have resonated because we shared that in the community a little bit and got some comments back. And I feel like we've all felt like we're at the back end of the bell curve at some point.
Right. Yeah. There's not always you have different times in your life that, peaks and valleys, right? And
yeah.
So definitely people can identify with this. And, a lot of my stories are somewhat believable. I do have supernatural elements and things like that too. So hopefully people reading that can understand the title as they progress through the stories.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and the supernatural elements, I guess it depends on your cultural, viewpoint of how unbelievable those are. Somebody might be like, oh no, I know all about ghosts.
That's right.
Well, now that you have published a book from beginning to end, including writing the book, which is a mega challenge, what would be the biggest challenge for you? Like, what was the most challenging aspect for you that you want to share with others?
I think honestly, right now for me, it's the marketing of the book and trying to sell a product to strangers. And I'm an unknown author. I have to work my way up from the ground. But there's a supportive community out there of other authors. My friends and family are very supportive. So, there's other hard things to do as putting a book out yourself. You have to learn all the self-publishing tools and websites and things like that. But, those are all things that can be learned. And also I expect that those are things that I can use again and again once I've mastered them. So, there's going to be just budgeting of time to spend on all the things that are important. And so marketing is one of those things. Editing is another one. I found a great editor, but I probably spent 4 times as much time editing my stories as I did writing them. So it's definitely a time management thing. And, it's just something that I'll probably get better and better at.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because this was a lot of learning. And now of course, then there's always the thing of it all changes as soon as you know. So, one of the things that I like is you brought up community of authors, and that's where we are right now, is in this fantastic community of people that are going to support you, buy your book, leave reviews, because that's what we've been doing for each other. So I think that's fantastic. It's a perfect, you brought that up and I was like, I know some of that community. We're here.
Yeah, that's really great. I mean, the networking here and other places as well is just something, as I've been an introvert most of my life, but I'm kind of getting a little bit, moving a little bit to the other side. So I think that's going to help. It helps to have support though. So you don't feel like you're not making mistakes, or if you make mistakes, it's okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the support can kind of tell you about it. It's shared experience. Oh, I did that once, and the KDP blew up on me and banned me, or whatever might happen.
Yes, that's right.
Well, how about your real life support around you? Have your friends and family responded to you suddenly having a book, being an author?
Yeah, my immediate family isn't too surprised, but my friends are a little bit surprised. It's a pretty big endeavor, getting something all the way from an idea to something that's tangible. And I did this before with in the game industry for some board games, and so I definitely, when I started doing this, I wanted to complete what I started, and get a sense of accomplishment. So that was one thing that they're surprised, is that you're starting this journey late in life, and if you had this talent and interest, why didn't you start earlier? And it's, well, I had some other things that I needed to do, and I'm pretty risk averse. So for me, a career in engineering was something that I felt was more of a sure deal. So now I feel like I have the time and interest to go pursue this thing full on.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because there's some really fantastic and original stories here with original viewpoints and stuff. It's definitely worth digging into for all this wide variety of material that you've managed to gather that is all linked through this bell curve idea, which I love. What are some of your favorite stories in this collection, and then like why?
Well, first I'll have to say that my favorite stories vary from day to day. It's like kids or music. It's like what fits your mood for that day might be your favorite. But I like them all for different reasons, and some of them I like because I had a really well worked surprise ending. Another one, it might be that I managed to make an emotional connection, and which is something that I've really been working hard at. And some are humorous, and they crack me up. So I'm hoping that they crack other people up. My lead story, Henry the Horse, I've shared that with friends and family for a while, and it's only 175 words, but it has all those things. It has surprise ending, it has a little bit of an emotional connection, has a lot of character personality in it, it's humorous. So it's kind of me in a nutshell. The other stories in there, they range all over the place, but I'd have to say that as I go look forward to writing more stories and publishing more books, I'm really trying to work on the emotional connection portion of it. I think that's what makes people think back and go, oh, I really liked that book, or I like that story, and I'm going to maybe read it again.
That's awesome, because that's what does wind up resonating with us, is the ones that change how we feel. How about the hardest story? Oh, you go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, So the other thing I like in some of my stories is dialogue. It kind of lets my personality come through, and I get to say things that I wish my characters, or my characters get to say things that I wish I could say. So it's things like that are kind of fun to do as well, and it's a really good way to build character development, to have them say certain things in certain ways.
Awesome. Yeah, I was a late bloomer on the dialogue. I avoided it because I felt nervous of it. So it's kind of cool to hear that, like, you kind of started out understanding the power of it to tell the story. How about the hardest story that you had in there? Like, what was the one that really drove you crazy?
Yeah, there were a few that beta readers took a look at and said, I just don't get it, or it doesn't work for me. And one of them that comes to mind is a story called Uranium Mine. And I have to tell you, the source of inspiration for these stories could be anything. It could be a phrase that I heard during the day, or a dream that I had, or something like this. Uranium Mine, I had a dream. I was in a mine. There was a disemboweled trachea on the ground, and it gave me the directions for how to get out of the mine. So I turned that into a story about Polish Jews that were fleeing the Nazis in the Ukraine, and they went into a uranium mine. And I had to do a lot of research for it, and I finally finished it. And then the beta readers were just like, "What in the world is this? This doesn't make any sense. There's gaps everywhere." So I rewrote it many times. I still not sure I got it right, but it's in the book.
Well, I look forward to checking the story out. You're going to read for us too, aren't you? Are you reading that one, or what are you going to read for us?
I am. I would like to read I'll read the second story in the book. It's a story called The Fall. It's about a 5-minute story, and it's a complete story. I'd say on average, these stories will probably take you about 10 minutes to read each one. So this is one on the shorter side.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, let me find it right here. Okay, again, this is The Fall. Garrett called out from the back room. "Guys, put it on channel 10. They're showing that gymnast dude who died at the whack." Eddie and I changed the channel. Supposedly, some guy fell over 200 stories during the World Aerial Athletics Championships. This event was pretty popular due to the danger element. Guys and gals doing parkour on cranes and giant robots called Grobots used to build massive skyscrapers in places like Doha and Hyderabad. To date, no one had died. Even though there were several falls, the sport employed a technology where most of the participants wore suits fitted with magnetics. Safety drones with large electromagnets had caught a dozen or more unlucky athletes, usually within the first few meters of the fall. However, in this case, one of the top competitors, a skilled Latvian named Ralphs Ozals, wore his own trademark all-white, non-magnetic, form-fitting suit, which had started a fashion craze all around the world. Ralph cited the rigidity, the weight, and the slight pull on metal apparatus as reasons for not wanting to wear the safety suit. Ozals was a well-proportioned man with high cheekbones and spiky blonde hair, his look a marketing dream, though he preferred to lead a private life, shunning the media and keeping to himself. His interviews were often very short, 1 or 2 words, then gone. He rarely smiled, which added to his mystique. He always seemed so serious, all business, always. On the courses, he was graceful, like a cat, moving from structure to structure, rarely breaking speed. Sometimes criticized for lack of difficulty compared to some of the other competitors, he won some and lost some, relying on his speed and fluidity to win. His choice to not wear the prescribed safety suit, although adding to his danger element, was not allowed to be considered in his scoring. Breaking news: Latvian aerial athletics world champion Ralphs Ozals has died in a fall in Shenzhen, China. Sports 10 has the footage from a camera drone and warns that this footage is extremely graphic and should only be seen by mature audiences. Ozals, who refused to wear the standard magnetic suit, risked death every time he performed. And on this 15-foot drop to the moving crane on your right, as you'll see, he misses the surface and goes into free fall. The long-distance camera showed a falling Ozals, not flailing as you would expect, but instead dropping, posed as if at attention, arms at his side, heels together, body erect and facing forward, like a kid jumping off a train trestle into water 20 feet below. But in this case, he was falling from over 1,000 meters and rapidly accelerating as if he was a missile. The station went to a split screen where a close-up camera drone, one of several programmed to follow the athlete through the course, was fixed on Ozal's face. What was odd was the look on his face. He showed no expression of fear or panic. Rather, he maintained his familiar, emotionless persona, like one of the guards at London's Buckingham Palace. The camera stayed fixed on his profile, capturing periodic ripples across his tight jaw, created by the increasing wind resistance. His eyes stayed open and fixed ahead as he plummeted, 20 meters per second, then 40, then 80. The rippling got faster and faster as if his face was made out of crepe paper, and still he stared ahead as he passed the 70th floor, the 60th, the 50th without breaking form. But about 8 to 10 seconds into the fall, as he was approaching a terminal velocity of over 100 meters per second, a large tear formed, and over the next 5 seconds streaked upward, toward his hairline. Maybe it was just moisture from the abrasion of wind on his unblinking eye, or perhaps instead it was a tender memory, finally humanizing him in front of his audience. The close-up camera drone pulled away as it got within 50 feet of the ground, and as the view switched to the distance camera, the streaking Ozals closed the last 15 meters in a mere tenth of a second and jackknifed into an unrelenting concrete slab, still at attention. After the 20 seconds of footage drew our mouths agape, the announcer returned. Ralph's Ozals was 28 years old.
I remember that. Wasn't that the first story you sent me?
I think it was one of the first three, maybe.
Yeah, one of the first three.
Mhm.
And I love that story. And that's kind of what started my whole intrigue with this entire collection. Yeah, I have to ask you, what inspired that? I mean, I'm hoping it wasn't from real life experience.
No, parkour is a very new and interesting sport. I mean, it's not as new as it used to be, but there's a lot of death-defying athletes out there doing that, and so it's something that's actively in the news now. So I've always been an avid sports fan, and extreme sports are something that I like to follow. I have another story that's not in this book called Downhill Run. Making up new extreme sports and things like that is something that's interesting to me. But in this particular case, it was just that was the inspiration. Was amazed at what some of these people can do with parkour.
Yeah. There's so much in that story that just leaves the reader questioning, like to continue to build on what happened and why. But yeah, you nailed it with the emotion and everything in that one, because it's shock and sorrow and so many things all rolled up into one.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, where can we find you? Like, where can we go get this book? I mean, besides the links that are below.
Well, as of today, it'll be active on all major ebook retailers, and the paperback. I do have a copy of it, advanced copy of it. You can't see it there.
An invisible copy.
Yes. And you didn't know I could do magic, huh?
Yeah.
So the paper book will be available on Amazon, as well as other retailers like Barnes and Noble, etc.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Good luck with it. I mean, I say good luck like I'm not going to see you anymore, but we're going to be here supporting you every step of the way and waiting for the next one.
Yeah, I appreciate you spending time, and your interest in the book.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody, you've just been listening to one of the many conversations we have about books on the Opportunities Hub, which is where you're listening to right now first. And in the Hub, we bring together aspiring authors to choose their own writing adventures so we can achieve our quest together in an algorithm-free community invested in the concept of radical generosity. And whatever platform you're on, if you enjoyed this, follow the links that are included with this to connect with Phill Bradley and get his book, Back End of the Bell Curve, Tales of the Uncommonly Unlucky. Beautiful cover. I love that cover. We've had so many good comments about that. Simple and yet so effective cover. I love it. I think it speaks to all of us. We've all been in that 1% of the uncommonly unlucky at some point in our lives.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm going to go read and review now.
Very good. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.